Hi friends, today we will discuss computer crime. Computer crime is also referred as cyber crime, e-crime or electronic crime. So, we will use them interchangeably in our discussions. The word cyber crime or computer crime creates a variety of perceptions in our minds. We feel too much vulnerable about bank accounts, money or privacy. Also, some people remain very much neutral for their impacts, thinking it is only related to the use of computers. Yes, cyber crime is a dangerous and primarily because we typically don't have idea about the amount of damage it can cause. In order to protect ourselves against such crimes, it is important to understand them thoroughly. These two lectures try to explain the classifications of computer crimes and the types of computer crimes. They also help us understand difference between conventional crimes and computer crimes. A very short discussion will do for crime. We all know what a crime is, and by definition a crime is an illegal action or activity for which a person can be punished by law. Basically, if one acts in a way which impacts interest of another individual or group of individuals negatively, an entity or entities governing that, then it can be called as crime, and that is a formal definition of and also by legal experts as well. Difference between conventional crime and computer crime. Conventional crimes, as we all understand, are basically harming somebody in terms of assets, reputation or existence. The primary difference between conventional crime and computer crime is that in case of computer crime, computer or computer network is either the tool or the target when the act of crime takes place. It is important to understand that when a computer is a target, then what part of computer is targeted. If someone's monitor is stolen, it is not a computer crime. Computer crime refers to information or impact on information stored or used in the act. Also, computer crime includes all computing devices, for example, smartphones included, not just desktop computers or laptops. Computer crimes versus attacks. This is important to understand the difference between computer crimes and attacks, since often people use those terms interchangeably. Attacking a computer for information theft, misuse, prevention or corruption is a crime. So, attack is an act which is punishable by law, and as we learned, any attack punishable by law is a crime. For example, a famous computer attack is DOS or denial of service. We will take an example of IRCTC website in old days. It was found that during Tatkal reservations time slot, the website used to stop working, not because it was not capable of taking the load of the required amount or required volume by actual users, but because some attackers used to make huge mock requests to the server using some computer programs that it was unable to handle. Now, this attack is punishable attack, and hence in legal terms it is a crime. Prime classifications of computer crime we will discuss. It typically is important to understand the classification of computer crimes. This helps in preventive measures and deciding over punishment or penal actions. There are some crimes which may overlap in more than one classification or other. For example, child pornography is against individual and against society too. There are other types which are against individual, against property, against society and against government. Let us discuss what is against individual. There are some computer crime which make damages to an individual, either by stealing their information or misuse it or by defaming them. There is another type which is against property. Same as in the real world, where a criminal can steal and pickpocket, even in cyber world offenders resort to stealing and robbing. In this case, they can steal a person's bank details and drain off money, misuse a credit card to make frequent purchases online, run a scam to get naive people to part with their hard earned money, use malicious software to gain access to an organization's website or disrupt the system of the organization. The malicious software can also damage software and hardware, just like vandals damage property in the offline world. The other type is against society. Acts which harm the social harmony and environment are considered against the society. This classification also considers the fact that any act which encourage other crimes in the society, child pornography, abusive content for a religion or community, and other similar activities are cyber crimes against society. Let us talk about what is other against government. Crimes against the government are denoted to as cyber terrorism. If criminals are successful, it can cause devastation and panic amongst the citizen. In this class, criminals hack government websites, military website, or circulate propaganda. The committers can be terrorist outfits or unfriendly governments of the other nations. Now, classification versus type of computer crimes. It is typically important to understand the classification of computer crimes. This helps in preventive measures and deciding over punishment or penal actions. There are some crimes which may overlap in more than one classification. For example, child pornography is against individuals and against society too. Now, let us talk about types. Types of computer crimes help us know in which manner we can be attacked or how we are vulnerable. What action from our side or from somebody else's side can make us or somebody else become victim of a computer crime. Typically, a type of computer crime can lie under one classification. However, in some exceptional cases, it can be under two classification also, increasing the amount of penal actions. Let us talk about types of computer crimes. So, there are multiple: phishing scams, malware, hacking, cyber stalking, cyber bullying, identity theft, ransomware, domain squatting, email bombing, logic bombs, virus dissemination, social media spam, plagiarism, eavesdropping and surveillance, online scam, data diddling. Let us take them one by one. So, let us talk about phishing scams. Phishing scams are attempts by scammers to trick you into giving out your personal information such as bank account numbers, passwords or credit card numbers. These scammers will contact you out of the blue via email, text message, phone call or even through social media, pretending to be a legitimate business such as your bank, telephone company or even internet provider. The scammer may ask you to update them on your details so they can refresh their systems. They may even ask you to fill out a survey as you have the chance to win a prize at the end, but here is where the scammer can get access to your email address, phone number or more. Another way these scammers get hold of your information is to tell you that unauthorized or suspicious activity has been happening on your account, and they will then ask you for your information so they can sort it out. In fact, they are going to steal from you. Phishing attacks work the same as fraudulent phone calls which people are being educated on. Example: suppose you are a customer of ICICI Bank. You get an email from support at ICICI Bank which says please check your balance and also provide a link for www.icicibank.com. Please note icicbank.com. It might be natural for you to click on the link and go to the site which exactly resembles ICICI Bank's website. You enter your username and password and then you find that site does not work. You ignore the email, but what might have happened is that the scamster has received your user ID and password for the bank. Of course, that may be sufficient for move funds, but this is just an example. Now, let us talk about malware. Malware means malicious software. Simply explained, there are different types of programs which can harm one's computer or the information stored on the computer. Harming means corrupting or stealing here. Target for malware can be a computer or any computing device. It is a piece of software written with the intent of causing harm to data and devices. Malware is overarching name for different types of viruses such as Trojan and spyware. A very simple example for malware induction is the emails we get at times, which request us to open the attachment by offering some incentive or by posing some threat. The attachment file hides virus with it. Let us talk about hacking. In simple terms, a hacker is an intruder who accesses your computer system without your permission. Hackers do this for a number of reasons, whether that is for greed, fame or power, as it shows people they are clever enough to get into something they shouldn't have. However, some will be able to break into the system and steal personal banking information and corporate financial data. Hackers tend to be computer programmers and have an advanced understanding of computers. Cyber stalking. We are talking about cyber stalking here because it is a crime, and there are many cases of cyber stalking across the world, and it is especially common with the teenagers and young adults. Usually the victim and the stalker know each other. The victim is usually subjected to online harassment in forms of a barrage of online messages and emails. The aim of online stalking is to make the victim miserable or accept control as a perverse way of being in contact with the victim, just like ordinary stalking. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is similar to cyber stalking. However, the barrage of messages can be harmful, abusive and wholly offensive. Cyberbullying can also be done by posting images and videos online that can offend the victims. It can also be excluding people online, creating fake accounts to post harmful or distressing content, and again sending abusive messages. Overall, it is bullying, but online, usually through social media. Identity theft. Identity theft is one of the most common types of cyber crime. The main reason identity theft occurs is with the view of creating fraud or financial gains. Criminals usually steal identity information of others such as credit card information, addresses, email addresses and more. With this information they can pretend to be someone else and create a new bank account. Child soliciting and abuse is a type of cybercrime where criminals solicit children via chat rooms for the purpose of pornography. It can also come in forms of material that shows or decisions sexual abuse towards children. A child is regarded as someone who is under the age of 16. This type of cybercrime is heavily monitored by the police. It can be a threat to companies as well as individuals because the perpetrators may be looking to adopt another person online. Ransomware. It affects many companies and has recently affected the NHS and other big corporates all over the world. Ransomware enters into your computer network and encrypts files, meaning you do not have any access to them. The attacker will send you a notification demanding a large sum of money for you to then get your data back. The criminals' aim is that they will get enough people to pay to ransom fee to get a quick buck. Email bombing. An email bomb is more a form of internet abuse. Email bombing is an overload of emails directed to one email address. This will cause the person receiving the email server to become sluggish or even crash. They may not necessarily be stealing anything from you, but having a sluggish server can be a real pain and hard work to fix. Virus dissemination. This is particularly sneaky form of cybercrime. It not only gets a piece of malware, which is basically a virus of some sort, onto one part of the victim system, but it spreads across other pieces of the software. Without a full and proper quarantine process and safe environment to test in a sandbox, the next time you open a piece of undiagnosed as if infected software, the process starts all over again. Logic bombs. Logic bombs act in the same way as a virus, but are small programs or sections of a program which are triggered by an event. This event can be a certain date or time, a certain percentage of disk space filled, the removal of the file, and so on. A program could then delete critical sections of code, rendering your software as useless. The people who implement logic bombs are most commonly installed by insiders who already had access to the system. Theft. Internet theft is the broad term for any type of theft that happen over the internet. This can be done through many ways such as fake ads, fake emails, viruses, and snooping. The aim of internet theft is to steal your personal information and use it then steal money out of your bank account or make purchases using your details. Social media hack and spamming. Many celebrities that are hacked may end up following people they wouldn't usually or put random statuses. Even though for the average Joe, seeing a celebrity or brand post weird stuff can be amusing. It's an invasion of privacy. However, a hacker can also spread unwarranted content that can be distressing to the people who view this content. It can also cause your account to be reported and shut down. Social media spamming comes when a person makes a fake account and becomes friends or followed by the average person. This then gives the fake account the freedom to spam inboxes with bulk messaging. This can be done for spreading malware. Spamming can also spread malicious links created with the intent to harm, mislead, or damage a user or their device. Clicking on malicious link, which may be advertising a new iPhone or weight loss treatment, means you could be downloading malware which can lead to the theft of personal information. Another dark side of social media is the ability for malicious accounts to spam your output by constantly replying with negative messaging, a form of trolling. Whilst you can easily report such behavior to the social media platform and they should remove the user, or you can block them from seeing your content. It's easy for people to set up new bot accounts in minutes and begin their hack again. Electronic money laundering. Money generated in large volumes illegally must be laundered before it can be spent or invested. One way to launder money is to do it electronically through messages between banks, which is known as wire transfer. It had previously seemed impossible to monitor a screen wire transfer as they occur due to tremendous volume on transactions going through on a day-to-day basis. However, banks are clamping down on the issue and filling away any suspicious activity. Sales and investment fraud. By sourcing the content details and available account information for saving or investment account holders, fraudsters can adopt the persona of an investment banker. They will then contact customers to entice them with easy and profitable opportunities. But they seem a lot more trustworthy because they talk about accounts you already own and real results. Think of it as a more thorough phishing scam. Plagiarism. Stealing someone's work and afterward claiming it as own work is the most common type of act. Internet being public network, this has become very common activity. People copy images, text or videos from other websites. Governments across the world have either built a legal framework or have been preparing the framework to stop this. Bots and scraping. Unfortunately for scraping, there is no foolproof way to prove. Idea here is to fetch data from other websites by use of a program, modify it and claim it as own. This is a kind of plagiarism with little twist. The data is not collected by work, but has been copied from some other internet resources without giving any credit. Consider one example first. A site displays information about classes in the neighborhood. Another site developer writes a simple program to copy that information and shows on his website with a modified version. Eavesdropping and surveillance. Eavesdropping without the consent of the parties is a crime and can be done online or over the phone. The most common way to eavesdrop is to wiretap, which is the practice of connecting a listening device, usually to a telephone line, that allows the criminal to monitor conversations secretly. Software privacy. Nowadays, thanks to the internet, you can find almost any movie, song or software for free online. Software piracy is the unauthorized use and distribution of computer software. Even though using pirated material may seem good because it is free, it comes with a range of risks. These risks include trojans, viruses, worms and other forms of malware. But it is also stealing, as no proceeds go to the producers of the content. Data diddling. Despite the humorous name and seemingly innocuous action compared to the other cybercrimes in this list, data diddling is the action of skewing data entries in the user system. The results can be huge. However, they might include adjusting financial figures up or down marginally, or it could be more complex and make an entire system unusable. Salami slicing attack. A salami slicing attack, as funny as it sounds, makes sense once explained. It is a technique used by cyber criminals to steal money or resources a tiny bit at a time. So, there initially is not a noticeable difference to the bank account. The criminal will do this to a number of different sources, which accumulates to a considerable amount stolen over time. Salami slicing attackers generally use this technique to steal money. Online scams. Online scams are basically scams that happen online, whether that is tricking you into giving out personal details online by an ad popping up telling you that you have won something and asking for your card details to pay for the shipping. Sadly, you will never receive anything, but you will start noticing weird transactions coming from your bank account. So, to conclude this, computer crime, cyber crime or computer oriented crime is a crime that involves a computer and a network. The computer may have been used in the commission of a crime, or it may be the target. It is important to note, computer here are referred as any computing device, smartphone included, and not just the desktop computers and laptop. Offences that are committed against individuals or groups of individuals with a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation of the victim or cause physical or mental harm or loss to the victim directly or indirectly, using modern telecommunication networks such as internet. Networks including but not limited to chat rooms, emails, notice boards and groups, and mobile phones, Bluetooth, SMS, MMS, different type of communications. Cybercrime may threaten a person or a nation's security and financial health. It has issues surrounding these types of crimes have become high profile, particularly those surrounding hacking, copyright infringement, unwarranted mass surveillance, sextortion, child pornography and child grooming. There are also problems of privacy when confidential information is intercepted or disclosed, lawfully or otherwise. Internationally, both government and non-state actors engage in cyber crimes, including espionage, financial theft and other cross-border crimes. Cyber crimes crossing international borders and involving the actions of at least one nation state is sometimes referred to as cyber warfare.